Often you'll hear them standing up and defending the evil criminals that I've been talking about. And in the meantime, what they're doing is smearing and doxing our agents and putting them and their families at risk.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back. So today we're talking about the Mayor of Nashville, Tennessee. This lady is Kristi Noem, and she's with the Department of Homeland Security. She recently did a press conference where she called out Mayor Freddie O'Connell of Nashville, Tennessee for allegedly going after ICE agents, and apparently this mayor is being accused of doxing them, revealing their information to the public, encouraging people to work against them, and he allegedly has been forcing his city officials, his employees, to document every single interaction they've had with ICE authorities. Before we go a little further into this video, you guys, if you're new here and like what you hear, please hit that like button for me, and if you're a returning subscriber, please remember to leave it a like as well. Also, hitting that notification bell will keep you guys updated on any new videos that I put out. Whichever one of those you choose to do, or all of them, it's really going to help my channel out.
Rioters, criminal thugs, legacy media, open border politicians, leftists have doxed, attacked, and tried to intimidate the men and women who uphold our laws and keep our streets safe. And now our ICE officers are facing an 830% increase in violence against them and their families.
In response, the mayor has a real blasé-like attitude about these accusations, stating that he is being careful not to violate Tennessee's sanctuary city laws and that he is not concerned about Department of Homeland Security investigation into his actions.
Do you understand the concerns of DHS when they're talking about endangering federal immigration officers by posting the names?
I understand the concerns, but it's not a process that I would characterize as doxing.
Whatever, I do what I want.
He added the names are public record, revealing what the real problem was to him.
I'm far more concerned about the overall dynamic we have about unmarked, unidentifiable, masked people whisking people into vehicles.
Listen, if people don't like the laws in this country, go to Congress and change them.
Kristi Noem mentioned that ICE operations have led to the detainment of 200 undocumented immigrants, 70 of which had criminal records. But the mayor seems to be digging his heels further into the ground and will not budge on his stance to abide by his state's sanctuary laws. In fact, he addressed the media saying,
Well, this was really an issue where they were already part of a public record by being in Department of Emergency Communications calls, so I don't think it puts them at additional risk, but it's also not an intention of the executive order under which those names were released.
So as we can see from his demeanor and what he's saying, he has no intentions on backing down from what he's saying. He's insisting that what he did was not considered doxing and that the information of these individuals were already readily available to the public.
Do you understand the concerns of DHS when they're talking about endangering federal immigration officers by posting the names?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I understand the concerns, but it's not a process that I would characterize as doxing. It was an unintentional release of names that were already part of a public record.
But the Department of Homeland Security seems to see this in a very different light, and they started an investigation into this mayor.
A congressional investigation centers around whether or not Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell thwarted the work of federal immigration officers by impeding or obstructing ICE operations in the mid-state. Mayor O'Connell was asked to turn over the documents from May 1st of this year to now. This included all documents related to O'Connell's updated Executive Order 30. It requires city departments like Metro Police to report federal immigration communications to the Office of New Americans to post publicly.
So the mayor was basically making it a requirement to police and whoever was having interactions with ICE agents to hand over that information, and then he was posting it publicly.
Congressman Andy Ogles says the mayor is interfering with justice, listing several concerns. The biggest, he says, is releasing information of the names of federal immigration officials and some locations of their encounters with emergency services departments like Metro Police.
You know, he can have his woke righteousness, but when somebody gets hurt because he's putting ICE names and locations out on the internet, there could be criminal and civil penalties that ensues.
It's all a part of O'Connell's amended Executive Order 30, posted publicly on the Office of New Americans website. The mayor's spokesperson tells me the data is for transparency and it dates back to the previous mayor John Cooper's administration. But the dates on the interactions go back to July 2024, long after Cooper left office. The mayor's office claims that's because there were no reported interactions with ICE 7 months prior to July.
So first the mayor says that, these date back to before I was in office, But then the news says, oh, well, these only date back to 2024, and that was way after the previous mayor was out of office. So it's just like, contradictions back and forth. Politicians, what do you expect, right?
Why you always lying?
You can't really expect them to tell the truth. But this next part that the news mentioned really gave some information as to why the mayor putting this information up in the fashion that he's doing could be alarming to some of these ICE agents.
Mayor Cooper's original order allowed 3 days to report immigration communications. Mayor O'Connell's version requires 1 business day, speeding things up. Earlier this month, we asked Mayor O'Connell if he intends to tip off migrants with the data.
That's really not the intended point. The intended point was for us to have some awareness, and what has happened more recently is a technical update.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So they're basically asking him if his intentions were to tip off people to ICE agents and kind of where they've been and where they might go next. And they're asking him that because he made an amendment version to an executive order that the previous mayor made regarding the timeline for communication concerning immigration. So he shrunk the timeline, which used to allow 3 days for communication concerning immigration, down to just 1 business day. And so basically condensing the time frame between ICE activities could in turn give insight into their operation, and it could possibly enable certain individuals to anticipate their next moves. So that's where the concern lies.
Congressman Ogles says the mayor is wrong to do this,
He's putting federal law enforcement and local law enforcement in harm's way.
which adds to his call for the Homeland and Judiciary committees to investigate the mayor's actions. Congressman Ogles tells me there is a new development that's expected this week on the investigation into Mayor Freddie O'Connell. We'll keep you updated.
All right, now let's go a little bit back on this story. And what we're going to watch is a news segment reporting about the mayor requesting from ICE basically the information about the people that they're arresting, wanting to know if these people are actually criminals or whatever. Let's watch. Regional ICE Field Office Director Brian Acuna laying out ICE's mission in an exclusive interview with Fox 17 News. But Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell says he didn't believe ICE without proof, even creating a fund to help undocumented immigrants during the crackdown.
Gang members and convicted sex offenders off the street and remove them from the country.
We don't even know the names of who they've arrested, much less the charges. These raids aren't about safety.
Now, as I watched this segment, this one about the mayor, and he's so concerned about who's getting arrested by ICE, I went ahead and scrolled through the comments like we always do, right? And one particular comment caught my interest. This is what it said. Meanwhile, citizens are arrested every day and the mayor doesn't comment or ask to see the case files. But if it's an illegal, then he wants to know. This person actually makes a very good point. I mean, what does the mayor do when people are getting arrested every day who aren't immigrants? I mean, if we're going to make arguments, let's make arguments for everyone, right? Why not? Everybody throw your hat in the ring, okay? I mean, really, is he concerned and in an uproar about all these other citizens that might get arrested on a daily basis? Is he asking what they got arrested for, or do they deserve to be arrested? Is he asking these questions? Is he making probes into these incidents? No, he's not. And why? Because he's probably benefiting heavily from the immigrants in his city. That's just my personal opinion, that at the end, it all comes down to money, right?
Money, please.
And it's not just any kind of money too, right? What type of money do these government officials usually go after? Usually monies that are funneled through nonprofit organizations that can be classified under a 501c3 organization. And basically, when an organization has 501c3 status, it means that the organization is exempt from federal income tax. And one such place that benefits from being filed under this type of organization is Belmont University, which is located in Nashville, Tennessee. And it's being speculated that the mayor's blasé attitude towards Department of Homeland Security and its efforts to carry out its orders to go after undocumented and criminal immigrants is directly affecting other city employees, and that his resistance to federal policies are what's causing universities like Belmont to find ways to circumvent federal orders given to dismantle their DEI program.
Nome also attacking Belmont University after the conservative website Town Hall claimed the private institution is, quote, hiding illegal aliens on campus.
As you know, they have openly said that they will house illegal immigrants on their campus and do that in defiance of the federal government.
Nome says the feds will send dozens more agents into Nashville and the state, plus more investigative tools to double down on deportation efforts.
So basically they were told to stop their DEI efforts, and instead of getting rid of them, they just redefined their DEI programs and reworded them and basically presented them in different ways.
You smart.
So in result, if the university is found to still be carrying on and harboring illegal immigrants, then they would be criminally liable according to the Tennessee Senate Bill 392, which strengthens Tennessee's ability to combat illegal immigration by criminalizing human smuggling and holding individuals and organizations accountable for transporting, harboring, or hiding illegal immigrants within the state. So what puts Belmont University particularly in the line of fire and more at risk for the consequences related to this bill is that Belmont University, like I said, is a 501c3 organization. So it's a nonprofit higher education institution, and the IRS recognizes such organizations as tax exempt under Section 501c3. This designation is due to its educational purposes, which are recognized by the federal government as contributing to the public good according to the Association of American Universities. Meaning, if they don't abide by federal regulations, like dismantling their DEI program and efforts, then they could lose the benefits they're receiving due to being characterized as that 501c3 organization. So you guys see what I'm saying? They have to abide by the federal regulations in order to keep receiving those tax benefits, basically, in a nutshell.
Belmont University issued a statement saying it is aware of comments from government officials and, quote, maintain that the university is in compliance with federal laws. They added, quote, we look forward to working with and together with the Tennessee delegation to address any concerns about legal compliance.
Don't start lying.
And there, you know, that, like I said, they're going around it, they're circumventing it, they're saying, oh, we don't have these programs anymore, but yet they have other programs that look and sound awfully familiar to the DEI programs that they were supposed to dismantle. So you're probably wondering, well, just do an else. What does the mayor have to do with this university and how they're choosing to not follow these federal regulations? Well, you know, it's called lead by example. And like I've already said, you know, he is demanding that a lot of these officials, you know, give him information and basically follow his lead. So that seems to be what this university is doing. They are following his lead. So let's see how that might turn out for Belmont University.
Developing news tonight as Mid-State Congressman Andy Ogles is taking on Belmont University.
That's right. He's calling for a federal investigation to find out if the school is protecting undocumented students and hiding DEI programs.
Scott, Congressman Andy Ogles' call for an investigation stems from a staffer captured on video given to the conservative news outlet Town Hall. We have not independently authenticated the video, so we will not be showing it to you. The video shows a Belmont University employee talking about what the university calls the Office of Hope, Unity, and Belonging, saying, quote, the hub is hope, unity, and belonging. That's DEI. Let's be real, end quote. Suggesting the university rename the office and it carries out diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. This goes against President Trump's directive to get rid of DEI programs. Maya Goodmanson, a senior at Belmont University, says students are under the same impression.
Every student at Belmont knows that it's the DEI program or the DEI office. It's no secret.
Fox 17 News emailed Belmont University earlier today. A spokesperson sent us a statement that says in part, quote, we are deeply saddened that these videos portray Belmont as having a shadow operation, as nothing could be further from the truth. It's also disappointing that Representative Ogles and others perceive such an approach as being representative of Belmont University's character and values, end quote. Congressman Ogles tells me he doesn't buy Belmont's response. He tells me they need to remove all requirements to include DEI and any trace of it from their materials.
Take a look at this letter sent to the Secretary of Education for the investigation. It says, quote, according to the recording, staff are also concealing the presence of illegal alien students from federal authorities, an apparent violation of both immigration law and the department's guidance.
So as we can see, they're under a lot of heat right now. And the main reason is because of what I mentioned earlier. And actually, before this news segment ended, one of the anchors mentioned the federal funding that this school was getting. Let's watch.
Karen, before you get away, the university is federally funded or is not?
He was like, Karen, before you get away, before you slide up on out of here, okay? We forgot to mention this little bit for the audience.
Karen, before you get away, the university is federally funded or is not?
That's right, Scott, it is. Even though Belmont University is a private school, it still gets federal dollars. Congressman Ogles wants to defund the school if it is in fact promoting DEI programs.
I'm cutting you off like they did my leg.
So there you have it. Congressman Ogles is looking to defund the school because they're like this. They're like, okay, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want these perks, all right? You want to be this tax exempt organization. You got to go by federal regulations. And that's how it is, you guys. You know, when you have these companies, let's say Goodwill, for example, they are categorized under that nonprofit organization thing. So they have certain federal regulations that they have to abide by. That would be different than like a Walmart or something. So if you go and you work for a company like a Goodwill versus like a Walmart, you will notice that there are major differences in their rules and how they run their business, as opposed to, you know, these big box companies that are not federally funded. Well, you guys, that's going to be it for today. Let me know how you feel about this mayor of Tennessee allegedly doxing these ICE agents. Do you feel like what he did should have some type of consequences? Or do you think that, you know, he didn't do anything wrong, you know, because he did say this information was public anyways? And what about the university? Do you feel like they should lose their federal funding since they're allegedly circumventing, you know, the new regulations that were put into play? Leave your opinions down below for me. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe.